So Denise, what is closing costs? That's the first question. But then, more importantly, what is closing costs for a seller? Okay, so what is closing costs?
Good question.
Yeah.
Closing costs are going to be what it costs the seller to close the transaction.
Okay.
And you'll receive those costs on their estimated settlement statement when they come in to sign.
Okay, great. So, sellers, right? What is a typical fee that the seller should expect to pay? You know, what are the typical things they gotta pay for?
Real estate commissions.
Real estate commission.
The owner's title policy.
Owner title policy.
1/2 of escrow.
One half of escrow.
And the excise tax, which is also called the transfer tax.
And the excise tax.
Yes, and that percentage varies depending on where they live.
On where they live. Okay. And I know from my own experience, you know, when you add commission and closing costs, all those together, it comes out to roughly about 9%.
That's right.
6% commission, about 3% for closing costs. But here's the question that people always ask me: I thought the buyer is paying escrow. How come we gotta pay for escrow? What's up with that?
Good question. Another good question. Buyer and seller split the escrow fee right down the middle. So each pays half, and it's because that escrow provides services for both buyer and seller. So they're working for both.
Got it. And how did someone determine what escrow fee is? Is it a percentage of the sales price, right?
No, it's actually based on a sliding scale based on the price of the sales contract.
Oh, so
Percentage.
so if a house is 200,000, it has a certain dollar for
That's
that.
right.
If a house is 500,000, certain dollar.
That's right.
Okay, great. Now another thing that always comes across, right, is why do I have to pay for new title insurance to the property when I don't even live here no more? What's up with that?
Good question. We get that too. And you're right. The seller pays for an owner's policy for the new buyer. It's customary in Washington that the seller will always pay for one for the new buyer, and then the buyer's paying for one for their lender. But when that seller bought their property, the previous owner paid for theirs. It's just a custom in Washington.
It's a custom thing. Okay, great. Well, listen, I appreciate the information. That's really, really, helpful. Because a lot of people, including myself, before I started the business, I had no clue what closing cost was, let alone what should a seller pay for and what should a buyer pay for. So we appreciate it and sharing that. You guys, I appreciate you being here.